What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Best Bet show. Just me today. Just me today. We have about hour and a half, 2 hours before we dive in or before we start the 1 o'clock games. There is another boring game in London going on right now. Jaguars and Patriots. Even when both these teams started the season, I don't know why they would put this as a London game. I know the Jaguars always play there, etc. But come on, man, there could have been a better game played here. That's just a little absurd to me that they would even do that. Before we dive into the plays, let's hop off this right here and let's show my screen. Shout out to our sponsor. We're so proud to be sponsored with DraftKings Pick Six. You can see it right here. Pick Six. Can you guys see that? Are we all good? I think we're good. You play $5 in your first picks, you earn $50 in Pick Six credits instantly. It's another DFS site. Guys, take advantage of the new user promo. You could do a bunch of stuff. Passing touchdowns, regular touchdowns, passing yards, rushing yards. They got everything for every game. And honestly, a lot of stuff you could see what the odds are in certain books and make some good plays off of it. So that is our sponsor that we're so happy to be a part of. But now back to the scheduled programming. Remember to use my code in the link below, DraftKings Pick Six Matty. All right. Now we can do that. We could look at some other things. I don't want to really share my screen here, but I guess I'll put in a banner the games that we're talking about underneath. If there's any game you want me to talk about, by all means, just put it down below. But we could talk. A 1 o'clock has a banger of a game. I'll put it down here. Seahawks versus the Falcons. Two birds going at it. Which one is superior? I don't even know if a Seahawk is an actual bird, but maybe they're just native to Seattle. I really don't know. You have a ridiculously high total. Not ridiculously high, but you know what I mean. A high total of, I think, 50 and a half, 51. Let's look at it. 51 and a half. Moved up from 48 to 51 and a half. Spread has kind of stayed the same. 3.5 down to 3. -3 in favor of the home team, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I don't have a play in this game. I don't think right now. I'm double checking my sheet. I don't have a play in this game, but I do have a nice lean, and it's going to be DK Metcalf over 66.5 receiving yards. Just want to make sure that line is still there. Let's see. Gonna just check the odds jam market real quick. I think it's 68.5 on some books. I still see 66.5 on Bet365. 65.5 on MGM. I probably take the 66.5 at -110 and go from there. But DK Metcalf has a reception line of 4.5. Now, every game this season, which is only twice that he's had over 4.5 catches, he had over 100 yards in both those games. He did have 100 yards in a game with 4 catches. And then obviously 11 targets last week, a couple touchdowns taken away from flags. But 66.5 for DK Metcalf is just fairly low, in my opinion. In what should be, it's in a dome, should be a great game back and forth. Should be a very competitive, highly fast-paced game. That's where DK Metcalf is going to thrive, right? The Lions, 7 catches, 12 targets, 104 yards. Did beat the Patriots when they were struggling in that game. 10 catches, 14 targets, 129 yards. The Broncos, he did not cover in. And the Giants, he had 4 catches for 55 yards. Then only 3 catches for the 49ers we saw before. But, I mean, when he has 4 catches, he's over in last 8 of 10 games and last 17 of 20. And again, when he has 5 catches, he's over in 10 of 10 and 17 of last 20 as well. So if he gets 4 catches, you're gonna like your chances. And I think he does get 4 catches. So I'm probably gonna add that to my card. I'm not gonna lie. But I do like field goals in that game as well. I definitely lean more the Falcons kicking field goals than I do the Seahawks. As you can see, field goals made per team. But a high total in a dome. Dallas, obviously, with the most field goals per game. San Francisco, second most. That's Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Atlanta averages 2.5 field goals per game, and Seahawks only at 1.5. So when you look at things from that perspective, and Koo has been unbelievable. They've been using him unreal. I think it's a great game to take advantage of some props in. There's definitely some games to avoid. That is not one of them. Another one is the Texans and Packers. I mean, same thing. Packers, Texans, huge game. Not really for both of them. The Texans can really afford to lose as their division's honestly pretty trash. Colts at 3-3 are the second best team and dealing with QB injuries back and forth. And the Titans are 1-4, Jaguars 1-5. Where the Packers are 4-2 and sitting in last place in their division right now, which is just ridiculous. Caleb Williams and the Packers at 4-2, Lions at 4-1, the Vikings at 5-0. Now, the good thing about the Packers right now is that if they win today, the Vikings and Lions play each other, which means one of them is going to have to take an L. One of them will get a win, but one of them will have to take an L. So that's good time to maybe look at betting the Packers possibly in this division right before if they do win this game. If they lose this game, obviously that look is probably not where you want to be. But if you think they could beat the Texans, which I mean, at home, Jordan Love looks back. It should be interesting. It should be interesting for sure, to say the least. Um, but either way, I do think that the Packers have some value, and obviously the Jordan Love injury and other injuries really made them off to a rough start. There is one game I want to talk about, which I don't really get the spread here. I understand the Giants have been pesty, and I'm a Giants fan, but I think we're in a buy low spot for the Eagles. I mean, AJ Brown didn't play. Devonta Smith was out for a game. Like, they beat the Packers, beat the Saints, and beat the Browns. The only two teams they lost to is they lost to the Falcons, which should have probably won that game. Late drive by Kirk Cousins, and then the Bucks. They had no weapons against the Bucks, and they lost. And the Bucks are a good team. And I know the Giants have been pests. They've been in a lot of games, but you look at who the Giants played as well. Lost to the Vikings, good loss, whatever. Commanders, before the Commanders really got a hold of things, that was really before Jane Daniels really pushed through, but they lost that game. Probably should have won that game. Beat the Browns, who again are not good. Lost to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have been pretty bad. Then somehow beat the Seahawks, which was interesting, and then lost to the Bengals. But they looked awful in that game. I don't know. Something about this Eagles team. I know they're not great, but if you told me before the season started you'd be getting a -3 and they're fully healthy now, I just feel like it could be a trap line, but I'm definitely not taking the Giants at +3. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be one of those games that are divisional. They're going to be scrappy, chippy, whatever. But the Eagles with AJ Brown, I don't see how they lose that game. I really don't. If they win, I think they win by 3 or more. So you probably push at worst, I think, with that scenario. And I really do think that a lot of public's going to win today. This is a comeback game for sure. Jalen pass line too low. I think I agree. I think Saquon's going to feast too. Um, and I don't know. This game seems. I mean, Jalen Hurts at 216.5 does seem ridiculously low with AJ Brown playing. I almost said Jalen Brown because NBA is coming up. I mean, he's torched that in both starts, or 3 or 4 starts, 3 or 5 starts. Didn't hit it against the Falcons. That's because again, no AJ Brown, and didn't hit it against the Bucks. And no Devonta Smith or AJ Brown. I think the passing line is low. I think you're right, for being honest. There's probably some good alt lines there as well. Let me just make sure they're healthy. I think Dallas Goedert may be out. Yeah, Goddard's out, but the wide receivers are back. I don't really see it being much of an issue here. I do like that Jalen Hurts look. I'm not going to lie. checking out this game right here. Jaguars and the Patriots. Just a brutal games to start. I do think there's a lot of games to target. Lions, Vikings, Seahawks, Falcons. The 1 o'clock games are fantastic. 4 o'clock games may be a little rough, but you do get Chiefs 49ers, which should hold you over. And then you get a Jets Steelers game, which should be interesting. I mean, say what you want. The game might be ugly, but it will be interesting. And then Monday night, we got 2 games. So I think will Mason go over 60 yards rushing? I think it depends on the injury. I think he sprained his AC joint, which I actually had a minor tear in my AC joint. Not saying I'm Jordan Mason, but my shoulder's still messed up because I didn't rehab right. You assume he probably took it light. Problem with Jordan Mason is that he could power through for a 20-yard rush every single time. I think it's going to be an attempts issue. I think if they're winning the game, he goes over. If not, it may be close. But the Niners can, they win the battle of the trenches a lot. I know the Chiefs defense is very good, but I think if you think the Niners win the game, I think he goes over. If you think the Chiefs are going to win, I would stay away. That's my 2 cents there. That's all I got to say. I think there's a lot of value in a lot of those touchdowns too. A lot of those high totals are going to be great for those sorts of things. Let's see. My alarm just went off. Let's see here. I got my leans up here. I may add another play or two. I do have a couple plays for Monday already. Let's see. Let me just scoot that up. I don't want to have too much volume, but I really like the spots today. I'm not going to lie. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 plays today right now. And I think I might make DK Metcalf my 8th. $10 to 1K. Rest Lotto. Touchdown parlay had. I may add another parlay or two, honestly, for not as much of a crazy parlay, but maybe a safer one. I may do one with my ladder challenge too. We'll see. We'll see. I think this is going to be it for me, guys. Remember, guys, download DraftKings Pick 6. Go play $50, get $50 in Pick 6 credits right when you sign up. Let's have ourselves a Sunday. Let's conquer today. I'll be back tomorrow on this show with Alex Caruso and Austin's props for both Monday games. Best of luck. Peace out.